What's going on, everyone? Real Red Politics here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing the upcoming Senate race in the state of New Hampshire. This was a requested video, and I decided I put a poll out saying if people would rather me take a look at Ohio's Senate race between J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan, or if they'd rather have me take a look at New Hampshire Senate race between Maggie Hassan and Bolduc. And New Hampshire is the winner, so I will be doing New Hampshire today. I will try and put a Ohio video out tomorrow. I can't guarantee it, just because it is Saturday and I generally only upload videos every Monday through Friday. But I will most likely go ahead and put out a video on the Senate race in the state of Ohio. For now, we're going to talk about the state of New Hampshire. The only reason the map looks like this right now is because of the fact that I couldn't just single out a state on the map like I've been able to do in other videos. I'm not sure why. I don't know if there's a way I can, but I haven't been able to. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at, take some things into consideration. We're going to take some polling into account, recent polling, or most recent polling anyways. We're going to kind of take a look at what the 2016 results were, as Senate elections are every 6 years, and we're going to take a look at like the president's approval rating, which everyone watching I'm sure knows is really low. The fact that it's a red wave year, all of that kind of fun stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 2016 Senate election between Maggie Hassan and Kelly Ayotte. Kelly Ayotte lost by 1,000 votes, according to this race, according to these results. And so, taking into account the fact, I don't think 2016 was a red wave year. It could be, but I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure that, well, I know for a fact that this year is in fact a red wave year. So this is what we have for the 2016 results. It was 48% to 47.9%. It was a very close race. And so let's take a look at some polling here that we've seen. A lot of people are saying, well, New Hampshire might go Republican, and it very well might. And based off the trends of what I've seen currently, taking a look at taking some things into consideration, how Republicans are now likely. Actually, they've been, and I think they will. I think they're going to win the House. I think they're going to win the Senate. I believe they'll win the Senate at least 52 to 48. I think I did the mathematics right. I think 52 to 48, if not 53 to 47. But currently, as 538, because this is what I use for polling, as we're able to see different pollsters and stuff below. Currently, we can look at the polling that 538 has. We can see back in May, the margins was about 6 points or so, and as we got into May, it got closer. July, it got a little closer, and then it continues on this trend, a pretty steady trend through the months of August, September, and October, and then it widens, and then all of a sudden, as we get closer and closer to the midterms, the Republican is gaining, Bolduc. So people are thinking, well, could this go to Republican? Well, we can look at the governor's race too, real quick. This video is not about the governor, but he is leading by 16 points. Now, truthfully, I don't know a lot about Sununu, but I guess he's, favored and he's popular in the state of New Hampshire, which is a good thing, it sounds like. And I mean, Sununu's up in the polls like crazy. We don't even have to worry about the governor's race there. We don't even have to look at it because we already know Sununu is going to win. So let's look at the Senate race. The Senate race has Maggie Hassan and Bolduc within 538 has it within 2.9 points right now. And let's go down a little bit. Let's look at some polling. Trafalgar Group, sponsored by the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire is a great news organization, or whatever you want to call them. They put out a lot of good stuff. They had Bolduc by 1 point, and if we want to look at St. and Anselm College, who had Bolduc up by 1 point as well, with a pretty large sample size. And this is all very recently. This is within the last week of October, within the last few days of October, actually. And coefficient has this poll as even. The University of Massachusetts has had Maggie Hassan back in October up by 10 points, which we can kind of throw that poll out the window because we can tell that they either overpolled or like overestimated Democrats or are really underestimating Republicans, because if we look at insider advantage, it had Maggie Hassan on October 23rd up by 1 point. So, and I mean, we can take a look at polls that have that occurred earlier, like Emerson College had Maggie Hassan up by 4. Data for progress by between the dates of October 14th and 19th with a fairly large sample size had Maggie Hassan up by 6. So, but it's interesting because I know that inflation is one of the biggest issues that the United States is. The United States is currently in a recession. The current president is the President Biden is very unpopular. He's not done a good job at all. He's not doing good at all for the country. Democrats are losing House seats left and right. They're being flipped by Republicans. Like, there was a seat in the state of I think it was in South Texas. It was in Texas, but I think it was South Texas, that was held by a Democrat for a long time. Flipped to Republican. You saw a state like Virginia, where it was a battleground state for a governor's race. It flipped to Republican. Glenn Youngkin flipped it. We can see a state like Oregon that's probably going to flip to Republican. We can see, even a state like, maybe like Michigan will flip Republican. It's possible. In the Senate race, like you have Wisconsin, Ron Johnson's going to keep his seat in the Senate. I'm sure of that. J.D. Vance, I'm confident, is going to win his seat in the state of Ohio. Marco Rubio in Florida is doing a great job. Mark Ronchetti, he's doing a great job in New Mexico. Dr. Oz is doing a great job in Pennsylvania. He's actually gained a lead. If not, he's increased the margins in which he is ahead of John Fetterman, which is a good thing. And so, the question for this race is, do I put this race into the Republican category? I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% confident that it will. But I'm also not 100% confident it's going to go to Maggie Hassan. As far as I'm aware, Maggie Hassan's an unpopular senator. And like I said, with Chris Sununu being as popular as he is in the state of New Hampshire, I would be surprised if Bolduc doesn't win. I think in my Senate I had it as a Democrat seat for the United States Senate, but it could very well may flip. I mean, like I said, there are a couple polls that have him up by 1 point. One's Republican funded, one is not. Both large sample sizes, so I think it's possible. If Bolduc wins, what will the margin be? If Bolduc wins, it will be a tilt to lean margin. It'll be within 0.5 to maybe 2.5 points. The margin could be bigger, margin could be smaller, but that's my prediction. It's pretty. I think it's a pretty decent prediction based off what we've seen in terms of if he does win. Maggie Hassan wins, it's going to be by the same margin. I don't see her winning by a lot, if any, especially considering the fact that it's a red wave year. Joe Biden is very unpopular. The Republicans are favored to win the House and the Senate, and Republicans generally are just better on the issues that are important to voters right now, which is, the economy. Crime is a very big one. That's why in the state of New York, the race between Lee Zeldin and Kathy Hochul is so close, because Kathy Hochul is not tough on crime. The economy up there, everything's super expensive. No one likes that. Everyone likes it when they can afford stuff. People like it, when crime is low. People like being able to keep their jobs. People like, not having to worry, about, being robbed or, whatever. And so, in this race, who do I predict's going to win? I'm going to predict that my decision is, and once I make a prediction, I don't normally, once I make my final prediction, I'm not going to change it. My prediction for the New Hampshire's Senate seat, the candidate I think is going to win, I think Bolduc will win. I really hope he does win, because it would help Republicans get closer to that majority, and if he wins, might make it the 53. It might make it the 54th seat that Republicans hold in the United States Senate. It is very possible. So, that's my video for today, talking about the upcoming New Hampshire Senate race. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. It would mean a lot. Let me know what your thoughts are, what you agree and disagree with in the comment section below, and stay tuned for more political content coming your guys' way.